Hello lovely ones. I wanted to do a little video on optimal temporal reality and what it actually means to align with that and what your higher self of that optimal temporal reality is, because I've just come back from an amazing retreat with Susanna Kennedy, who's been a phenomenal teacher and influence in my life in the last couple of years. And one of the command statements that we work with is I am commanding an axotonal alignment with my optimal temporal reality. But I had to admit when I was out there didn't quite understand what I was asking. Like, what is my optimal temporal reality? Like, what does that mean? And this is all to do with timelines. It's all to do with recognizing that we are living in a multidimensional universe. So there are many timelines, infinite timelines coexisting at the same time. And what we focus on is what grows. Now, in order to align with your optimal temporal reality, you need to know what it feels like. And also, let's just deconstruct the words. Optimal temporal reality, the best possible timeline, temporal reality that you can live in. So there are lots of different versions of your life that you can live, okay? And some feel better than others. So the optimal one is the best possible one where you can actually fulfill your life mission here on earth, which I believe we all come here with a mission to fulfill our passion, to share with the world what brings us joy. And, too many of us talk ourselves into staying in jobs that we hate, or staying in relationships that we've outgrown, or suffering because, this is part of the life plan. Well, it isn't part of the life plan. It's something that may have gone on for aeons and aeons of years and time immemorial, but it doesn't mean that you have to live a life of suffering. It's about our attitude to the life that we're living, and also seeking higher and higher vibrational states. So optimal temporal reality, what's the best possible version of you? What is she or he doing? If there was no limit, what's the feeling state that you want to be embodying daily? I'll give you an example here that when we focus on reasons to be fearful and we focus on reasons to be cheerful, we will have a very different experience of life. So when we feel like we're a victim, when we feel like life keeps happening to us, that it doesn't seem to matter what happens, we've got one disaster after another. By the way, if that's you, I've lived that life. So I am not coming from pie in the sky thinking here. I know what it's like to be stuck in a loop that you want to break free from. But basically, it's Groundhog Day. You just keep creating more chaos, more drama, more struggle, more situations that it's just like, why is this happening to me? That's a timeline that when you focus on the things in your life that aren't working, you get more and more things in your life not working. Whereas if you're looking at your reasons to be cheerful timeline, or your bliss timeline, the one where you are most enjoying sharing your gifts with the world that you have come here to share, and you are here in service. So we're all here in service. Like, it's either service to others or service to self. But the irony is, through being honest about what we need to feel happy, fulfilled, free, expansive, we then serve others. So you kind of have to start with yourself. There's a selfishness that leads to selflessness. And we've really missed the boat with this. We've misunderstood it because we've come to think that it's selfish, it's wrong to have your own needs, to put your own needs first. But you are bloody useless to anyone else if you can't breathe, if you don't have any resources to help them, if you're struggling to be able to support others and therefore weakening yourself. So it's really important to be well grounded and happy. And optimal temporal reality, as we said, is your best possible timeline. It's the best version of you living out a life here on earth. And your higher self from your optimal temporal reality is the you that is the future you that's already living the life that you want to live. And this is an aspect of you that comes back to you. A bit like, I could talk now to the 8-year-old me, or the 4-year-old me, or the 21-year-old me, and explain a different perspective on the struggles that part of me is facing, because different aspects of us at different ages are frozen in our being, depending on whether we've cleared all of the trauma that we've experienced in our lives or not. So I can be my own higher self because I'm in a better place now than I ever have been, to go back to other parts of me and to explain a different consciousness shift that would help them to be free. Likewise, my higher self and my optimal temporal reality timeline can come forward and can talk to me and support me to make choices that feel good. So this is it, okay? You could be in a mediocre timeline. You could be fine. Your needs are met. You've got a relatively happy relationship. You're not too unhappy in your job. But there's kind of this sense of, is this it? Isn't there more to life than this? It's all right. I'm ticking by, but really? You know, isn't there more? That's definitely a sign that you are not on your optimal temporal reality timeline. And you really, you know, it's up to you. Some people want to experience a mediocre life, and that's their soul's purpose to do that. It's not my calling. It's not why I'm here. I really live by the principle that the better it gets, the better it gets. And that's how I want to live, you know? So if I'm feeling restricted, restrained, constrained in any situation in my life, that doesn't mean there's not boundaries. And it doesn't mean that you bail every time something gets challenging or difficult. It's about recognizing whether something that you're in serves your highest good. And that, like I said, could be a friendship, a relationship, a job, a study course, a health regime, whatever it is. Your own inner compass will tell you whether you're on track or not. And, you know, I can't think of a reason not to want to align with your optimal temporal reality. Also, to give you some guidance on how to create the feeling of your optimal temporal reality, think of the things that are not working in your life right now. What would it, if you spun it round, what would it look like if they really were working? So, you know, if you're unhappy in a relationship, what are the aspects of the relationship that you feel unhappy in? If you spun them around, what does it feel like for those needs to be met differently, or for those aspects of the relationship to be working? And you start to get, like, I can feel it now, I can start to get excited and joyful, and it's like, oh yeah, flow. That's what flow feels like. I love it. And that gives you an idea of what you're aspiring to, because often we don't even know what we want. When someone says to you, what do you want? I've got a magic wand. I don't know. I'm running now. I know what I know, and it's an uncomfortable comfort zone, but I'll stay here anyway because at least I know what I'm getting. That is not your optimal temporal reality, my friends. Furthermore, you know, say for example, you know, I've been thinking recently that I want some life insurance and I want some health insurance, and of course I don't want medical model health insurance, although I have to say I would go to A&E if my arm was dropping off. You know, if I had an accident, that's exactly where I'd be. But I want autonomy in how I choose to heal myself. If I got sick, I'd want to know that there's a pot of money that I can spend according to my values and what I feel is right, and to seek out the kind of treatments that I want. Now, as far as I'm aware, that kind of health insurance doesn't exist at the moment, so I have to co-create it in my mind and then do some research to see what's available. It might not be available yet, but it could be manifesting just as I am co-creating it as an idea. And an example of this is that when I was in Kauai, I was so happy that I'd gone out there, but gutted that, you know, I'd had to get flights and burn fuel and, you know, leave a carbon footprint. And then Susanna posted up an article about a carbon neutral airline that's appeared to basically offset, you know, all of the fuel that's used in planting trees and creating a zero carbon footprint airline. So, you know, we're instantly co-creating at the moment. That's what I'm trying to say is, if you can conceive it in your mind, you can achieve it. You can get there. You can make it happen. Equally, you know, we could argue, well, what's with health insurance? What's with life insurance? You can't guarantee anything. No, of course you can't. But whatever helps you to feel safe, it's really worth examining your motives. You know, like in anything that you want to create and you want to achieve, it's really helpful to examine your motives and to look at where you're coming from. Is it from fear? Is it from love? But I'm giving you this example because it tells you a little bit about my process. In my background paradigm, so what I grew up around, you needed a man to provide you with security. That's what my mum wanted for me. That's what my grandmother wanted for my mother. You know, the patriarchal system to earn the money, to provide the house, to provide the material things, to provide the life insurance and the health insurance and whatever else it is that I feel I want and need. And, you know, I had to go into that and think, well, do I believe I need a man for this? Do I need a man to be able to afford a house, to buy a house? Do I need a man to be able to afford life insurance, health insurance, whatever? And no, I don't. I can flow my own. Am I willing to step into being that affluent that I can actually afford all of these things myself and not be with a man because I feel I need him for my security, to choose to be with a man because I love him and he's amazing, and being next to him expands my energy field and I am more of myself, not less of myself, by being there with him. So you see the choice. Wanting life insurance led me to examine that. And, you know, again, like, you know, what am I thinking about here? fear of loss? Is this a lack mentality? Well, no, but I have a dependent. I have a child. I'm 38 years old. You know, I don't want to leave her in shtuck. So then it's all about me making sure that I'm living my life in a flowing way and I'm not holding on to stuff and creating the kind of energy around me that wouldn't be helpful for her. And, you know, I am going down the route of exploring these things right now because it feels appropriate, and I kind of just like the idea of feeling everything that I've worked towards, everything that I have created is going to support me and those I love moving forward, and certainly when I've left my physical body, which, let's face it, could be any time. None of us know how long we're here for. So it's again just about grounding in the reality of now. So I'm going to leave you with another little thought here, because obviously, you know, it's just a little bit of a long video, but I hope it's going to inspire you to want to start to connect with your higher self. All you have to do is say, all right, higher self from my optimal temporal reality, can you give me a sign? Can you let me feel you so I know you, and listen to the sensations in your body to see how this higher self communicates with you? And you can start to build a yes-no dialogue, which will help you to start making choices moving forward. Also remember that we are turning on its head the belief that I'll believe it when I see it, and we're actually saying you actually do need to believe it before you see it, because that's how we co-create our reality in a multi-dimensional way. You know, when we're learning to be co-creators, we're picking out of the field the things that we want to create. We're sensing them before they've actually happened. We're bringing them to us. We're magnetizing them to us. So remember, in the field of quantum particles and physics, you can't see, although they coexist at the same time, waves and particles coexist at the same time. So I'm going to use that as your dark thoughts and your light thoughts coexist at the same time. But you have to look for one to see it, and you can't see the other one at the same time. So if you focus on your light, you focus on your co-creating your optimal temporal reality, that's what you're going to create. And when an obstacle comes along, when something comes along that's stepping in your way, you're going to know that that's there to help you align even further with what it is that you want to create. So there's no such thing as being shat on from above. It's really, every cloud has a silver lining. And this is where Ganesha comes in as well, that, you know, Ganesh is the god that puts an obstacle in your place and also removes obstacles, but it's all there to help you further align with the divine, with your greatest version of yourself, with your optimal temporal reality. So start a dialogue with your higher self. Ask that it's the higher self of your optimal temporal reality, and start to use the situations in your life currently that feel great already to sense what feeling great in your body really feels like, and to anchor that so that you can, you know, magnetize more of it to you. Also spinning situations on your head, on their head, that aren't working in your life, and using your imagination to consider what they would feel like if they really were working, and dare to dream big. Once you start to get the feeling sensations in your body that you want more of, then you need to anchor that. So anchor, 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 you know, I am that I am, I am that I am, I am that I am. Just claim it, it's yours. And, you know, this is a really fast little track into something much bigger. So if you know you want some help with this and it's all just a bit too much to think of it all in one video, get signed up to Rosy Glow, the website, rosyglow.com, Facebook page. And why not get in touch with me and book a breakthrough call to discuss my Fearless, Empowered and Free to Be Me program, because that program is designed to help you go from fearful, victim-based consciousness where you're suffering and you're in pain and you don't know how to get out of it, to being a fearless, empowered co-creator of your reality. And when I say fearless, I don't mean you never feel fear, but you use that fear, you harness it like a wind, and you use it to propel you in the direction you want to go, rather than staying stuck where you don't want to be. On that note, my dears, lots of love from me.